been on the list for quite a few years now, and he seemed to always keep getting passed over. So it was a little worrisome that he was never going to make it, but this year he did make it. So um, for all the real Rocky fans out there, the love that we have for Todd Helton and how exciting this is for Rockies baseball. I mean, it's very rare with being such a young franchise still that we have now our second player to be elected into the Hall of Fame. So very cool, and congratulations to Mr. Helton.
Well, especially Hilton played on a lot of teams that were not very good. There's a couple magical seasons, but besides that, Hilton was pretty much the lone bright spot for Rockies, and for a while there, just Colorado sports in general. Broncos weren't doing very good at a time. Avalanche were kind of that up and coming team, but never really gone far. And then, of course, the Nuggets, up until last year, were just the Nuggets. So yeah, big news there. And again, I think he's one of the few, as of recent for sure, to be one team for that long of a career. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, and then another one joining him, another big time Twins fan. So to hear Mauer getting it as well is long overdue too. So two guys who played their full careers with the one team. They did talk about how kind of a rarity it is anymore that you get one guy playing for one franchise making it to the Hall of Fame.
Especially for as long as he played. It's not like he played a shorter career. Hilton was in there for a while and definitely well deserved. One of the more liked Colorado sports athletes as well, just off the field as well. You don't hear a lot of negative things. So, yeah, big congrats to Todd Helton. I'm sure we will be making this a YouTube short tomorrow because it's not very often, like Matt says, that the Colorado Rockies did something good. So, all right, looks like Bob's here. Let's see how Bobby is doing.
Good.
What's up, Bobby?
Hi.
How was the firefighter museum?
It was good. I got like three things: the hoodie, the shirt, and the hat.
Now, where is the firefighter museum for anyone that might be watching that?
Tremont Place in downtown Denver.
Because I know there's the one in the Springs as well. I only know that because when we were filming our Tesla episode up there, we saw a sign for it. So
yeah.
Well, it is neat. Well, yeah, conference championships were this past weekend. Definitely a heartbreaking one Sunday night for us for anyone that's obviously a Buffalo fan. Certain two words are going to haunt you guys again, unfortunately.
Right.
And then anyone like me and Matt, big fans of Wyoming, and of course Josh Allen. Just feel bad for the guy. He's getting a lot of hate, which is really weird. But I will say it's very similar to kind of the talk that Mr. Peyton Manning got, because they got blown out one of his first years making it to the playoffs. They just could never beat Tom Brady. So I still have a lot of faith in Josh Allen. There's people wanting to write him off, and I don't get that. Matt, how about you? How do you feel about our boy Josh?
Dude, when it happens, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen for Josh Allen. He's very talented, and unfortunately, you don't bring just him into the picture. Everyone brings in Bass, their kicker, Stephon Diggs, who I think owns a large part of that mishap for Buffalo not getting, the win. Kansas City obviously fumbling the ball on the 1 yard line backwards into the end zone, causing a touchback. Had they scored, it wouldn't even have been, on the kicker. It would have been more so than on Allen, or well, not Allen. I mean, Hamlin with the fourth down fake punt. I mean, there was a lot that when you look into that game played part. So I don't put any blame on Josh Allen. I don't put any blame on Bass. I don't put any blame on Diggs, although we could blame all of them. It was a team effort, and as a team, they didn't do it. I think if Buffalo gets a couple high-quality wide receivers, they can let Stephon Diggs go. He seems to be kind of a prima donna. He's he always whines about not winning the big games, but he's not making the big catches in those big
Oh,
games. So, I mean, I definitely see Buffalo winning a Super Bowl before it's all over, and Josh Allen will get something. I don't think he's the modern era Dan Marino or Jim
oh,
Kelly.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I did see a report today that Stephon Diggs is not going to request a trade. He's happy with Buffalo. He's happy with his role. I definitely think they need more receiver help. I know like Gabe Davis wasn't playing, but outside of Stephon, the receivers were not doing a lot. There was multiple what could have been either big gains or maybe a touchdown drops. Um,
Well, and look at how many of their defensive players were out too. I mean, Buffalo was a hurt team, so the
yeah,
fact that they brought it all the way down to a field goal at the end of the game should say something. I mean, the fans of Buffalo should be incredibly proud of this team, and I'm sure they are. It's a lot of hurt going on right now because
yep.
your anticipation was so high. It was like that. Was it 5 years ago now? 4 years ago when Minnesota had the Minnesota Miracle. Like, you make a
mhm.
catch like that, win a game like that, it's like this is our year. You knew it, and then that very next week, just to get steamrolled by the Philadelphia Eagles, that was painful. That was painful to watch. I didn't talk to anyone after that game. I went home and I wept in silence. So I get it, but hold your heads up high, Buffalo. Your team is very good, and they're going to be very good for a while.
Yeah, I think they made a stat line of like four healthy starters going into that game, and then they lost two of them during. So Buffalo's defense definitely banged up. Josh Allen was making some just spectacular passes. I mean, so was Patrick Mahomes, obviously. The comparisons, well, albeit a little early to say Brady, Manning, it's definitely going to be a fun rivalry. AFC has some really, really good young quarterbacks. And yeah, I definitely felt bummed. Um, Always cheering on our boy Josh Allen from Wyoming, and yeah, you feel bad for the kicker, but I did see somewhere that Buffalo fans had donated $100,000 to his charity that he kind of like puts out there and represents. So you can see, hey, even though they're hurting, they're trying to show they still got love for their kicker, Mr. Tyler Bass. So, yeah, Kansas City moves on 6 straight appearance for Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. I guess it is starting to kind of get in that Brady territory where it's almost every year somehow Kansas City is going to get into that conference championship. And I will say they look better than I thought they were going to look. Their offense maybe not great, but they hit on what they had to hit on. And I know there's been a lot of talk this week of Andy Reid maybe retiring at the end of the year or Travis Kelsey. We'll see. Probably a little speculation, but you never know. Matt,
But
any thoughts on Kansas City?
well, I think we kind of hit the nail on the head. It was what, week 17, week 16. I think both me and you talked about Kansas City is not the team you want to play in the playoffs because you could see them getting it put together. They were starting to figure stuff out, and it's like, yep, this is not a team you want to play, and they're showing you why you don't want to play them. Patrick Mahomes is probably going to be down in the books there with, Manning and Brady as one of the best quarterbacks. I mean, he continues to amaze me. I mean, he drives the ball so beautifully when the time is running down or it's a crucial moments. He makes those big plays, um, and that's what makes quarterbacks great. So everyone's like, "Well, you got to have a Super Bowl to do that." Well, he's got two. He's going for another one. Um, he very quickly could become probably the greatest quarterback ever, too. I mean, but again, you have to look in the era, and we talk about how hard you could hit, what plays used to be allowed. So it's always hard to say you're the greatest ever to play that position because so many rules have changed to make it easier for the quarterback. But in this era right now, Tom Brady is there, and now you got Patrick Mahomes. We're witnessing greatness right before our eyes. So Kansas City, I'm telling you, they're not the team I'd want to play right now. Baltimore, yes, they're a fantastic team, but they better be bringing their A game.
Looks like we have a Grayson sighting
Oh,
as
big
well.
dog in the house.
Sorry to be tardy to the party, lads.
No, you're good. We really only got through one game. We were talking about Todd Helton making the Hall of Fame, which is unusual for anything Rockies to go well. So that was news there.
Yeah, I
Grace,
just saw that too, and I'm like, good for the man.
right? Yeah, he seems like a player that's not hated by anybody. Usually you hear stories off the field something, but Helton seems like no one hates him. So that was good. Grayson, thoughts on that Kansas City Buffalo game?
I mean, I wasn't able to watch too much of the game, but I mean, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. But I mean, hey, hopefully Lamar Jackson puts a kibosh on the Swifties sooner rather than later. But that's just optimism,
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely some heartbreak for Buffalo, and of course they had to use that same word, wide right. Like as soon as they said it, I was just like, oh man, just like the Super Bowls and all that. Speaking of, because I know we spoke about why we support Josh Allen. I saw news today that current Wyoming quarterback, or I should say former Wyoming quarterback Andrew Peasley, declared for the 2024 NFL draft. He's someone that me and Matt have actually been able to see in person and played pretty decent. Maybe not Josh Allen, but he was able to make some plays. And the last few games, the Cowboys were just rolling. Isn't that right, Matt?
Absolutely, man.
Let's see. Kansas City is one tough team. They will win the Super Bowl again. I mean, it's very possible. Sammy, were you the one that were sending Bob the Raiders hat? Is there a status update on sending him the hat? Let's go to the other side. We saw the Texans Cinderella story just kind of get. I don't even know how to describe that, but I mean, they kept it close till halftime. The Ravens made the adjustments the Ravens were going to make. And Lamar Jackson showed why I think he should win the MVP this year. Grayson, you kind of mentioned it earlier. What were your thoughts on that one?
I mean, as you said, halftime looking good, but as soon as they came back, they just went full gas. And it's kind of what I expected to happen. I mean, I know I hoped that the Baltimore Ravens would be, taken out after this round, but that was me living in optimism land instead of reality. But, Lamar Jackson, obviously one of the best quarterbacks from his class. Like, without a doubt, he'll be a franchise leader for at least the next probably 3 or 4 years until he either gets hurt or that Achilles decides to give full way again.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Tony.
All right, Sammy did give us an update. It was delivered inside for a Tony.
Tony.
A Tony and produce.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
my.
Maybe it was perfect in Sammy.
Tony might have taken the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Lamar Jackson is just phenomenal. I know he got a lot of hate because he was just a running back that could throw. But he was a special player in college, and I think early on he showed he could do it. He had his injury issues, and man, that Ravens team is just so physical, and they wore down the Texans. Like you could tell they were huffing and puffing by just quarter 3.
Well, it goes back to the Ray Lewis, that type of Baltimore team that they just physically pounce on you, and they just kept pounding. There was no, end in sight.
Yeah, no, the Ravens have always been kind of physical. They have a quarterback that can maybe do something now. And we'll see. I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Baltimore this week. I think Kansas City is playing kind of how we expected playoff Kansas City to be. And as much as I'm obviously going to pick Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, spoiler, I don't think it's going to be easy. And I could definitely see Kansas City moving on to the Super Bowl. They know how to put it together. I hope not. I hope Lamar gets past it. Obviously, as a Louisville Cardinal, Matt, though, Any thoughts on this one?
This was probably the biggest blowout of the playoff week. Not too exciting. I mean, Baltimore just like you stated earlier, just out physically manhandled the Texans. They were not prepared for the game. Not much more to say than that, but maybe Houston was not ready for the game.
Right, and they're still a young team. I think C.J. Stroud has a bright future ahead of him. I think we'll definitely be seeing them in the future and the playoffs go deeper. At least if all goes according to plan, we'll see how the Colts respond. Obviously, with Anthony Richardson. Let's see, Vikings Dolphins. I mean, it's like green and purple and yellow and
It's a very New Orleans color logo,
yeah.
so I don't think everyone's going off this whole color thing. It's just I think coincidence. But I
Right.
really do wish the NFL would go back to letting the home cities give a
Design it.
flair to the logo. I mean, some of the Super Bowl logos of the past are amazing, and now they're just kind of blah. They have a little bit of color, the skyline in the background. That's it.
I'll say it's better than the 40s, right? When it was just like silver lettering. Because I know the Seahawks were one of the first where they were like, "How we'll put like a skyline behind it," so it wasn't just pure lettering. But yeah, they went through a phase of just terrible lettering. And hey, going by the colors, we all remember that classic Dolphins Rams Super Bowl from 3 years ago, right? I think people make too much. Certain cities have certain colors. Vegas is a nightlife. It's purple. And the red is more of a pink, so I don't know any real teams. Maybe the Cardinals with their not really nice looking jersey. Yeah, the New Orleans Super Bowl logo. I think is that official? I've seen it passed around.
No, nothing is. I mean, the NFL changed the logo this year, just 3 months ago, so they can really change it anytime they want. I think people are just putting their spin-offs anymore, and with today's technology, it just looks so real, and it looks like, oh yeah, the NFL did that one, but they didn't. There are some incredible logos out there, but I don't think it's the real logo yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'll say there's too much people buying just into conspiracies. I love reading a good conspiracy or two, but just become everything's like this deep-seated conspiracy, And the one thing the human mind is good at is putting patterns together. So just remember that. We will find patterns even if there's not one.
Spoken like a true conspirator, Keegan. Thought I could trust you.
Oh my goodness. What about that time James Dean was president?
No, I mean,
I like those ones.
Then I see people
that's
have turned
in reality,
their Vegas. It says Baltimore on the bottom and San Francisco, who the performers are at halftime.
That's
completely fake.
Yeah. That's just people thinking the 49ers are going to run away with it. Grayson, you were saying?
Mhm.
Oh, I was saying, yeah, conspiracy theories are fun, but once you start liking the Kool-Aid a little too much, then it's kind of time to cut yourself off. But speaking of the 49ers, I won't jump ahead. I'll let you. I'll back off on that subject until you're ready, Keegan.
Oh, I'm ready because I picked the Green Bay Packers. I thought the Green Bay Packers would win.
So close.
So close. The 49ers kind of squeaked by. They're possibly without Deebo Samuel this week. All right, so Grayson, what were you going to say about the 49ers?
I was going to say, we'll see if the conspiracy is proven right. If the 49ers beat the Lions, which I don't think they will, especially after Green Bay give them basically a run for their money, I think it'll be a really good game, but we'll see what happens. But I think Detroit's hungry enough to where they might pull it out.
Right. Yeah, no, San Francisco was okay. They had multiple dropped interceptions that easily could have swayed the game the opposite way.
Yeah.
Purdy still looked good. I mean, I know a lot of people were saying he looks like crap or whatever. He made some passes, but it was also raining, right? So I don't think I could give him too much flack. But yeah, I think Green Bay definitely the better team. Sometimes the better teams lose, and they just looked much nicer. Calling it now Broncos win Super Bowl 69 because they like it that way. All right.
Oh, jeez. And here again, Brock Purdy, is he not a young quarterback? Is he not allowed to make mistakes? I mean, fans, again, I would love to see them put the ball in their hands and go ahead and go out there and do what he does. I mean, yes, he gets paid to do that, but again, he's a young quarterback, and you learn from experience. And he was Mr. Irrelevant as well, right? Wasn't he the last guy drafted
2 years ago?
I mean,
yeah.
give the kid a break. I mean, geez Louise. Yeah, I mean, you're almost as bad as Bronco fans. I mean, they get somebody like John Elway, and then the next guy in couldn't throw, and then right away, hang the guy, lynch him. Next guy comes in, oh, hang this guy too. I mean, you got to let quarterbacks develop. College football is 100 times different than the NFL, and that's why you don't see a lot of quarterbacks make it to the next level. I think if given time, Brock Purdy will do just fine. He's got a strong arm. He's got a strong arm, and he can make some big passes. He just needs to learn how not to turn over the ball and make better decisions, and that comes with time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could say that for both quarterbacks. Both Jordan Love and Brock Purdy made some passes that I was like, wow, that's a really nice pass. You know, Jordan Love was it last year? People were already like writing him off. They were saying he couldn't even hit those nets. So he came a long way. Very good for the Packers fans. You know, kind of spoiled, but a more healthy spoil, I will say, than another spoiled franchise with quarterbacks. But yeah, I think Green Bay played well. I think San Francisco did well, but we'll get to Detroit. Everyone was rooting for Detroit, it felt like. I wanted to see Baker play well. I think he played well. I mean, he did have a couple interceptions, but, you know, some of them were really nice plays by the defense. And at one point, do you give credit to the defense and not just say it was the offense fault? Detroit's hungry, and I think knowing who they've beat and just gaining the confidence and being like, hey, we can do this. They may be away this week, but I think they can beat them. I think the last time they won this late in the playoffs was against the 49ers, right? Back in the 60s?
Yes.
Oh, could history repeat itself?
Well, and here's another thing that, I saw out there somewhere. What if week one, the opening kickoff, is your Super Bowl? You have the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not happened in our modern era. Has the two teams that kick the season off end up being the ones to play each other in the Super Bowl? So how fun would that be? And what if history repeated itself? Or not history repeating itself, but that game repeats itself and the Lions pull out a win over Kansas City.
Right, and then we can get the Eminem versus Taylor Swift Bowl.
There you go. Have both of them come out and sing at halftime or something, and Usher's like battle. The mic drop battle person.
Yeah, I don't get why people are like hating on Eminem. Like they show him like twice a game. I think I saw him once this game.
Maybe I was waiting for the cameras to show Josh Allen's wife up in the crowd or girlfriend. They kept cutting to Taylor Swift. I'm like, all right, where's the other pretty ladies at? I mean, I'm sure she's not the only one there.
Yeah, because I think he's dating a famous actress, right?
Yes, I might have to fact check that real quick.
All right, Matt, dude.
They had a lot of little kids. They had that Jason Kelce. He waved to Taylor.
Jason Kelce waved to Taylor? No, I think he was in the same booth as
little kids in the stands, and so Jason Kelce.
Yeah, he went out and picked up a kid so she could see
Taylor. Wave to Taylor.
Yeah, that did happen. I did say Jason Kelce's shirtless moment has gone viral more than any Taylor Swift moment. I saw people making custom Funko Pops based off of it.
I see like a bunch of memes, and one of the funniest ones was it's him doing this like shirtless dive out of the box, and it says, "When white people hear Sweet Caroline." That was pretty good. But to answer the question, Josh Allen is dating Haley Steinfeld, who is, I would say, probably just as, not bigger than Taylor Swift, but, just as,
I
popular.
was going to say she is beautiful. Holy cow.
What was
Josh
she in?
Allen, well done.
Haley Steinfeld, she was in True Grit back in the day. She was also in Bumblebee. She was,
Okay, I was like Transformers, yeah.
yeah, but she was the girl in True Grit, Maddie Ross, and then one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, Haley Steinfeld is definitely, she's a looker. But
She was a bombshell in Transformer. Oh my goodness, she was good looking. She still
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
dang, she
That's
looked good in that
Grayson.
movie.
That was Grayson's tease for a top 20 countdown that he will be doing. He didn't know he was going to be doing it, but top 20 favorite movies of all time here on the channel.
I'll happily add to it. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We had Shane. Shane sent in his, and it's fun. I like seeing everyone's different movies. I don't think of the three we've done so far, any have been too similar. Few here and there. But yeah, so right now we got Detroit, we got San Francisco on one side, Baltimore, and Kansas City. Grayson, which one are you looking forward to the most?
I think the one game that I'm looking forward to the most is definitely going to be the Ravens Chief game, because it's going to be intense. It's going to be good. It is two, really good teams of the division that are, at the epitome of both of their talents. This is the first time in a long time that, the Chiefs have had a streak like this. So they got to ride it out while they can, because I think this year is kind of evident that they're running on empty, and I don't know how much longer this is going to last for them. But I honestly, even though I am a Browns fan, I am really kind of wanting to see Baltimore pull it out, just because we've had the Chiefs in the Super Bowl just a little too much these last few years. So I think it's time for a little bit of a change up. But that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Matt, what about you?
It's kind of hard to say. Both games have a special meaning, or an interest to watch. I mean, to see the Detroit Lions go where they haven't been since like the 1991, 1990s, like very early on, it's crazy. And then, you have Kansas City, who's in their sixth consecutive conference championship game playing against Baltimore. And Baltimore is, a team that us fans here in Denver know very well. The Baltimore Ravens viciously beat up the Denver Broncos. And was it a divisional game or was it a conference championship?
Are you talking it was division if you're talking the Joe Flacco
Division.
Yeah,
where the receivers jumped over Champ Bailey's head and made catches and stuff like that.
It wasn't Bailey. Who was? It was like a safety. The guy.
I thought one of them was. Well, no, he did one over Bailey, because I know everyone was giving him a hard time because that was one of the greatest cornerbacks to pull that catch over their head type thing. But yeah, I mean, so Bronco fans are very familiar with this Baltimore Ravens team and how dangerous, 15 years later they can still be, 12 years later, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be some good football this weekend. And I think the Lions 49ers game might be one of the better ones, but I think your highest rating game is going to be the Ravens and Kansas City game.
Is that the one that kicks it off first this year? I think is AFC.
I think so, yes.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'll say I'm looking forward to both. I think because of my connections to Louisville and obviously pulling for Lamar, I might be looking forward more to the Detroit one because it's a little less of me wanting someone to go there and just watching and enjoying the game. Obviously I want Detroit to win, but I don't have like a connection, you know. So yeah,
Yeah,
for
just
me,
to
I think
confirm, yeah, the AFC is the kickoff game at 1
Mm.
o'clock, and then 4:30, 5 o'clock will be your NFC Championship game.
Oh, and then we get to do our Super Bowl show next week. We'll have a short there as well. Bobby, yeah, hopefully we got to get more views than last year's Super Bowl for sure. He walked away.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh, where he went. Okay.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So let's give. Oh wait. Bobby, what did you just get a guy carrying a trash bag into your house?
No.
All I see is someone's crotch, like right in the frame, dude.
Oh, it's
Oh,
Eli
hey,
Manning.
it's, Eli Manning.
That's
Cool.
Peyton.
You sure? Thought
Yeah.
Peyton had a bigger forehead.
No, it's Peyton.
All right, so let's get to predictions, and we'll kind of look around the rest of, I guess, the world, talk about what's going on there, because we're down to 2 games, so it's kind of is what it is. Bobby, we'll start with you first. AFC plays first, so Kansas City, Baltimore. Who you got?
Baltimore. Lamar Jackson.
All right, Grayson.
Same. Give me purple. I think Baltimore's going to pull it out. I think, as I said, Chiefs would having to play nonstop for almost 20 weeks straight now. And yeah, they're just running on fumes, and Baltimore came out swinging with their off week, so it's gonna be interesting. But give me Baltimore.
Matt, what about you?
This is a tough one. My heart would like to see Kansas City go, but my guts tell me the Ravens are going to go. I would like to maybe see Baltimore go too, just so the Super Bowl's not turned into the Taylor Swift Bowl. Because we think it's bad now. You go into the Super Bowl, and if she's not on a tour, I think it's coming up soon that she's supposed to go back on tour. But how driven they're going to be to show Taylor Swift, because they know they have a generation of girls, or you got a whole new clientele watching the game just because they want to watch Taylor Swift pop up. So they're going to show her multiple times. So hopefully they can go ahead and just eliminate the Chiefs now. Let's have the Ravens win it and have a natural thing, But yeah, so if I'm going with my heart, I want to see Kansas City, but my football brain and head is telling me that Baltimore is going to win this game.
Yeah, see, I'm blinded by my heart and my connections to Louisville, so I gotta say Lamar Jackson. I don't feel as confident as I did last week when I picked them, just because Kansas City, especially just how they played Buffalo, and not really having like those big names on defense like they did a few years ago, but they have young players that are playing good defense. So I think it's going to be close. I don't know if it's going to be super high scoring. I think maybe something like a 27-21 where it's down to that last drive. But I do see Baltimore winning. At least that's what my heart says. But if Kansas City comes out and wins, I would not be surprised. All right, so we've given you our AFC prediction. Let's go NFC. Bobby, Lions, 49ers. Who you got?
San Francisco. Brock Purdy. Again, San Francisco has a hell of an offense, too. Under Shanahan, they got a heck of an offense. They really do.
Grayson, what about you? Oh, you're on mute.
Whoops. Give me the Lions. They're obviously I think they're gonna be the ones that are gonna pull it out. The Niners, as you said, were sluggish. They were not they squeaked by on Green Bay, and it was again by a lot of luck and a lot of gimmies on that game. So I don't think they're going to have what it takes to beat a team that is on a hot streak right now. So yeah, give me the Lions.
I'm just going to throw this and I'll get to the game. So right now the weather forecast for this game for the Chiefs and Ravens looks like it's 60% chance of rain in the 30s. So very similar to was it that last game of Week 18 that they played where it was just like a downpour and very cold temp game. So you could be right on the point there. This being a low scoring game. You know how the weather in Baltimore, just like anywhere else, plays a huge role in it. So. Yeah, I agree with that low scoring game too. All right, going into this NFC game, dude, I really hope it's Detroit. Even though I'm a Vikings fan, I'm pulling for an interdivision rival just because they haven't done it in such a long time, and I think it would be a great story for the NFL. And Mr. Coach Campbell has grown on me quite a bit. I mean, I like the guy. He's a passionate person and a former football player, a fan. Hutchinson to come from being a kid that watched Lions football growing up to now being one of the players that could very well turn around the luck of the city. I think it would be good for football. So I'm pulling for the Lions in this one. But again, my football head tells me that it's probably going to be the 49ers who win the game. But my heart and me, I would like to see the Lions.
Yeah, see, for me, I wore blue today. Look at that. Perfect. I didn't even realize. I'm going to go Detroit. I wasn't too impressed with what San Francisco did last week. They looked off. Maybe, yeah, they did have their bye week, so maybe that was a little bit of it. But I know with Debo being up in there, if he's even playing, and if he does, he's not 100%. The 49ers without him are not the same team. The defense that they will be playing, I think Detroit has a better defense than Green Bay. And so if, Green Bay could do what they did with what is a lesser offense and a lesser defense. Remember, this defense shut down the number one offense. So why can't they do it again, So give me Detroit. So it looks like pretty much consensus right now is Detroit, Baltimore. I think that's the better of the two, or better of the three options, right? 4 options. How many options are there? 4 options, right?
There's 4, yeah.
I think it's the better of the 4. I'm not really looking for a San Francisco Baltimore game. I don't think it's going to live up to whatever hype people are believing it's going to be.
Been there, done that as well. What was that Super Bowl 46, 45?
47.
47.
Yeah, it was the one right before the Seahawks.
Yeah, we've seen it before. John Harbaugh, still the coach of the Ravens. It's been done. Let's try something new.
Yeah, I agree. Well, there you go. There's our picks. Next week, if you guys watch, because we're going to get to some more stuff here before we end off tonight. But next week, we'll be giving our Super Bowl picks as well as our picks for the NFL awards, kind of picking who we think will win each award. And that should be fun. I think you've seen all of us on Super Bowl picks, so you should know how we've done. All right, so now that that's over, Caleb Williams. There's been a lot of talk of him going number 1, obviously. I'm not 100% sold on this guy. I think he has some talent, but the backup came in and outplayed him in the bowl game. And I don't know. There's a lot of people saying if the Bears hired Kingsbury, which I'm glad they didn't, that would be the sign that they're taking Williams number 1. I don't know. If you gave it to me, I'd take Fields over Caleb Williams. Grayson, do you have any thoughts on Caleb Williams?
I unfortunately have not kept up with any college stuff. I've been a little out of the loop on that, so I might not have too much to add on this segment.
Dude, could this be Grayson might get the reference, but the movie Draft Day, went around the Cleveland Browns obtaining this number 1 pick, and were they going to get this quarterback that everyone wanted? And somebody's like, no, there's something there. There's a flaw with him. Could this maybe be what happens here? The Bears have that number 1 pick thanks to the Panthers, and here's this quarterback that everyone wants you to take, but do you take him? Is there something wrong with him? And then if you don't take him, does that kind of make everyone else scramble and go, well, shoot, why did they pass on him? What's wrong with the kid? Um, I don't know. I agree with you, Keegan. I hope the Bears are smart, and if you're not going to get, who you want at number one, let somebody else trade up, move back to the third or fourth pick. You might be safe getting Harrison Jr. there, but I think if they get an elite wide receiver like a Harrison Jr., they're going to be set up pretty well for Fields.
I mean, I could kind of agree with Matt on that. It's like just looking at. I was doing some quick research while everything was going on, but I think honestly, it's going to be. I know Matt was saying like if that was to happen as a hypothetical, I think that will end up happening because even though Justin Fields has not been, the wonder kid for, the franchise of the Bears, they have to stop doing what Cleveland's done, what so many other franchises in this entire league have done from year to year to year, is just not sticking with one quarterback and just trying to build an offense around them. So they just need to stop doing that and start building the offense around Justin Fields and find coaching staff around that. But I honestly think the realist in me kind of is going to say they're going to go with Caleb Williams. It's going to be another bust. He's going to be like this overhyped dude who came out of college, who can't deliver, but he's good for where he is because college is college. There's no pressure. But now you're in a multi-contract, multifaceted, endorsement deals, everything else, pressure. Now it's no longer, just your it's not just your scholarship on the line. It's your paycheck. So now there's, all that added on top of it and trying to put all that pressure on some 22, 23-year-old kid. We all know how we felt when we first started taking responsibility on at that age, even if it wasn't as severe. That kid's going to bust out too, and it's just not going to be – the Bears are going to be consistently bad unless they are willing to change that aspect of how they draft.
Yeah, and I think – I'm not saying Caleb Williams is going to be the worst thing ever, but people are kind of projecting him – or some people are saying he is the best quarterback prospect they've ever seen. And right away, how is anyone going to live up to that?
Look at Johnny Manziel. Look at every other top draft quarterback that was the best of the time. They don't turn out great because they walk into a no-win scenario.
Well, and then to bring up the the opposite, look at Tom Brady, look at Brock Purdy, look at Aaron Rodgers. These are guys who dropped in the draft and people didn't have faith in them, and they ended up being some of the, not that Purdy's there yet, but Brady, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever now, and it was round 6 or 7 before he got picked up.
Yeah,
So
6.
I mean, it's building that team around your quarterback, like Grayson said. You've got to stick to a guy and then build what works for them, and not expect him to make work with whatever, And maybe that's no, it's not Russell Wilson's problem. He's a one-man show. He doesn't need anyone around him. He can do it by himself. Slap a pair of knee pads on him, he can go play middle linebacker or something. But you build around your quarterback. Make sure they have the weapons they need, and watch out. Turn them loose, and they will succeed.
Yeah, and I think if you pair Marvin Harrison Jr. with DJ Moore, it's a good combination. The Bears need a running game. Without a running game, it don't matter if you can pass the ball because they know you're going to pass the ball. So if that's free agency, if that's a round 2 pick, or if they can move back, they can get some more, we'll find out. But look at Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, I think, far more talented than Caleb Williams is. Not that Caleb Williams isn't talented, but Andrew Luck was one of those like once-in-a-lifetime prospects, but because of the situation he was placed in and just getting beat up all the time, he didn't last.
Well, with everything that you guys said, I do kind of have a hot take, and it's like everything I just said about building your offense around your quarterback is obviously required because here's the thing. The quarterback is not somebody that you should rely on for every single down for passing. You do need a run game. So with that, the reason that the way you should be picking a quarterback is the person you have to find the guy who can get you out of the hot spot where you're down against the wall and your run game is just not working. You need to have somebody who can connect, and you need to have the receivers that are able to get open and available. Without that, you have no offense, you have nothing, and there's no way you can actually have a chance to do good in this league without that. And I think the harder part, too, is a lot of the a lot of just the management teams are starting to do a lot of this glitzy, glamoury, just getting as much press as possible instead of focusing on what really matters, which is establishing a well-rounded team that can actually win. It's the longer version, it's the harder version, but if you're willing to put in the time, you have to keep some of these old heads around that are still like, from as hard as it is for me to say, back from 2010. Keep them in the league, keep them around to train the young bucks as they're coming up, and then you start letting them retire out because you have to give them a chance to step into their own. They can't just carry an entire league, because then we just get stuff like what's happening now with so many different teams. It's just consistently rebuilding, consistently just falling apart. It's just the league, unless they're willing to change and unless every back office is willing to change how they do things to be a better team, it's going to be consistently terrible for a lot of franchises, and it's going to be really hard to watch.
Right. I mean, look at the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell's first year, they weren't very good. They were more competitive, though. But they let Dan Campbell build his team. And maybe they don't have that flashy quarterback, But Jared Goff, top 5 now because they gave him the team to succeed in.
He gets the job done.
Yeah.
Go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First year they got Brady. That was a terrible team. But Brady put up 4,700 yards passing. If you were to look at those numbers in today's game, he would have been the top passing, or he would have been first place in passing yards. So, I mean, you can have an ugly team around you and be a good quarterback, and you can be successful at doing it. And Jared Goff is a prime example. He is not the flashiest quarterback. If I were to pick 10 quarterbacks, I don't think I would name him in the top 10 before I would come to his name, honestly. But he gets the job done. And that's where, in the end, I might have to relook at my list of top 10 quarterbacks in today's NFL, like right now, not all time, but he gets the job done. And that's what's great about him.
Let's pivot to another quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Grayson, do you think he did enough for the Buccaneers to sign him long term?
I mean, yes. My diatribe and soapbox and the entire thing aside, yes. He got them to round 2 in the playoffs. Obviously not a win, but it's enough to honestly, I think it's enough for the Baker haters that have been around for his entire career to finally back off a little bit and give him his due. But I think if they let him heal up, get him, good to go and everything else for next year, I think they still can make a solid run of it. And I think as long as they're willing to let the kid have a career here, and then let's say maybe he's got 2 or 3 more years, because I know he's getting up there in age anyway. Let him train whoever his replacement is going to be. But if he sticks around, he has a reputation with those guys. Nobody really has a bad thing to say about Baker, unless you're LBJ. But
OBJ?
I'm sorry, OBJ. I don't know why I said LBJ.
Oh, no.
Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, guy's a sweetheart. Everybody loves him. It's hard not to like the dude because he's just kind of casual. And then when he wants to compete, like when he went up against Hugh Jackson when they let him go and he went to the Bengals, and he came alive, dude. When I saw that happen, that was the moment I knew if Cleveland can stick by this kid and develop him, he's going to be one of the greatest of the franchise of all time. And then when they did what they did with Freddie Kitchens and everything else, it was so devastating to watch them squander what they had. Like Cleveland does.
Hey, Grayson, we have faith. One day we'll see Cleveland Super Bowl.
It's going to be with Joe Flacco at the helm, I'll tell you that much right now.
So what is your thoughts with Deshaun? I know we kind of talked about it. We've had a little bit more time to marinate.
Again, he's not the worst quarterback in the league. I mean, statistically, morally, and ethically, it's up to you. But he it's kind of just like where we're at this weird point in time where it was like To kind of go back to some stuff that I've seen, just talking about all the quarterbacks that a lot of us grew up with, getting older and retiring. It's just we had a lot of phenoms, like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, all these guys coming through the ranks, and then now we're hitting this weird like stagnation period where everyone's not really trying to be a performer. It's who can I get? It feels like they're trying to get the most ad dollars while they're in the league before dipping out. And Matt, I 100% agree. He kind of needs to be dropped, even if we got to cover his contract. Giants can definitely use a quarterback like Deshaun. I'll be honest with you.
Bobby, there's no way Tua is going to Denver.
There's rumors floating around.
Well, there's
Yeah,
rumors.
that's just that rumors.
Yeah, there's rumors that a T-Rex might be president next year, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Well, I'm gonna write that in, so it could.
Yeah, vote Rexy 2024.
There's also rumors that Taylor Swift might move on and start dating Jerry Judy. Oh boy.
I did see, speaking of Jerry Judy, Broncos obviously are going to move on from Judy, right? Because he's a free agent. So, I don't know what Sean Payton was doing. He could have got a draft pick last year, but he's got to be stubborn. Cortland Sutton is also a name that they're saying they're going to move on for. So I really don't know what the Broncos are in for next year. I don't see anything going well for them next year. They're in a weird situation. It's come out now that they're probably going to keep Russ because they found out it's just too much money to get rid of him.
Yep.
What? They're going to keep Russell Wilson?
He wants to stay here.
The Broncos realize
he want to stay here this year. I want to see.
I would 100% park his little butt on the bench, though.
I think it more has to do with the Broncos realizing almost $90 million of dead cap is not something you want to be doing.
What?
And yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what we live in Colorado. We can tell you we put up with Bronco fans. I think next year is going to be worse. I really honestly do.
Yes, it is. It is. It does my heart good to know that Broncos fans are having to deal with what I had to deal with for a very long time. It's nice.
100% agree. I see the Broncos finishing dead last in the division next year. I think the Raiders are stronger. I think the Chargers are even stronger, and the Chiefs are still going to be up there. Who wins the division? I think that's going to be a three-team race. Like Grayson said, Kansas City is, unless they make a couple more changes, they need to bring in some wide receivers because they don't have any. Rice is a up-and-coming, maybe star receiver, but he's a kid. He's going to be in his second year next year. You need a veteran wide receiver there.
Well, and one person I see Kansas City maybe bringing in next year is Mike Evans.
That would be huge.
Right, he's a free agent.
Big pickup.
Yeah, he might not be a number one, but if you pair him with Rice, you bring in another receiver in the draft, and you've already kind of fixed that receiver issue. I think the question with Kansas City too is, are these I haven't really gotten any substantial reports, but there's a lot of rumors about Andy Reid being done or Travis Kelce. I mean, how would that have
been around for quite a while? I mean, but I think if you finish on top again with another Super Bowl, that always leaves the question: do you go for the three-peat? Do you go for that third consecutive championship? I would, yeah. I'd be like, all right, I'd be foolish not to.
Oh, wait, do it.
Yeah, until Patrick Mahomes decides to walk away from the game. You ride that horse and you ride those coattails until that pony gives out, buddy.
Right. Well, what is it to be said about Andy Reid? Because I think 4 or 5 straight NFC championships with the Eagles and now 6 straight with the Chiefs.
He's the GOAT of head coaches, man. I think he is on the Mount Rushmore of head coaches for sure. He's right up there with Lombardi, Landry. Yeah. I mean, you name some of the big names. Reed is going to be one of those big names. Shula, yes. But again, we had the opportunity, and granted, we were maybe a little younger, so we fully didn't comprehend it. But we witnessed greatness in our lifetime, and you're not going to have another guy like Belichick and Reed come along who just dominate the sport.
Right. I think we kind of got to the age, especially like say with Brady, where towards the end you kind of appreciated it.
Yeah.
But like looking back, you're like, man, we kind of took that for advantage. The Manning years.
Oh, I hate Brady. I hate him, but I respect the shit out of what he's done. You know, I respect the guy tremendously. He does stuff that I wouldn't be able to do, and he's what 42, 43 now, and I mean, kudos
He
to
ate
him.
avocado ice cream, Matt, for like 20 some years.
Dude, that's terrible.
It's the sacrifices you must be willing to make.
Yep.
Hey,
What Aaron Rodgers did, what an algae cleanse or something where he ate algae or something weird. I don't know. Rodgers is just weird anymore now with some of the stuff he does. But it's like, man, these guys are crazy, but maybe they're crazy for a reason because, shoot, Aaron Rodgers is playing football again just 7 months after tearing his ACL and looks good doing it. It's like, shoot.
Coming from a guy that lives around the uber or has to work with the uber wealthy, they live in not reality. I'll be honest with you. So, yeah, the dissension into just him thinking that him being Aaron Rodgers of 2023 and 24 is pretty easily believable. I need to see what happens. But yeah, no, I can't believe where he is. It's just weird to see that the person that was like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time just slide into that guy.
right. Well, let's switch over to some coaching news because Titans got a new coach. Did we talk? I think we talked Patriots right last week.
We may have
like-
it on.
Wouldn't know. I was at the stock show.
Titans got a new coach from the Bengals, their offensive coordinator. I don't know. I don't have. Well, this is one of those where we'll see. You know, who would have thought? You know, the Bengals would be. Or, you know, everyone kind of gave them heck. You know, when they made their hire. So we'll see. The bigger news is it seems like Harbaugh will probably be the coach of the Chargers, and Belichick the coach of the Falcons. At least based on the sources I am seeing. We'll see. Nothing's official, but I know both coaches have had multiple interviews now, and I would not be surprised if by next week's show we can officially say this is what happened. Matt, you spoke about shakeups. How would that shake up the AFC West?
Which one?
Harbaugh to the Chargers.
Oh, I still don't see that one happen. I think Mike Vrabel gets it. I just don't know. I mean, Harbaugh, I think Michigan's going to throw crazy money at him. In college football, they can throw crazy money at you, and it's money that the NFL can't touch. And I don't know how college can touch it, but I think he may stay in Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor.
I think with the upcoming sanctions, I think we might see him leave. I think
tuck his tail between his legs and go.
Yeah, I think especially with their private jet, the Chargers flew out to bring him in and have a nice dinner. For a second interview, it seems like.
Where does that leave Vrabel? Does he become a coordinator somewhere then? Because that takes care of pretty much any head coach opening, right?
I mean, I've heard Seattle. I know Seattle's also on the Quinn boat. And I don't know if either of those two excite me more than the other, to be fair, as a Seattle Seahawks fan. We'll see. I would not be surprised if Vrabel went to Atlanta to be a coordinator with Belichick, kind of get that reputation up and wait for another opportunity somewhere else.
Or, Belichick ain't going to be around forever. He could easily take the place there. And then, then that leaves Mike McDaniels. Where does he end up going? He's going to circulate back in the NFL again. He will.
Oh, probably Atlanta. I think Bill is going to get the band back together.
Bring all his guys back. Chad Kelly. Patricia's available again now. I think he just got laid off.
Eagles also.
Wait, are we projecting an Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl championship in the next 3 years? Is that what we're saying on this podcast right now?
I'm going to say the next 2 years, maybe.
I mean, Grayson, considering the division they play in, especially if, say, Baker does leave the Bucks, I don't see no competition coming from the other two teams.
You have a very good point there, sir. I withdraw my statement.
Considering the Panthers were given WWE a run for their money in attendance, I'd say it's a pretty good sign that they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Bobby, are you falling asleep? Are you awake?
I'm good. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm listening.
All right, we just want to make sure.
I'm listening.
But yeah, the AFC West next year, like I said, Broncos dead last. Let's go crazy. Let's go the Raiders in first, the Chiefs in second, and then
that
the
is kinda
Chargers
crazy.
in third. But, I think the Raiders they have their guy. They have their head coach. They played really well under their new quarterback. Does Garoppolo go? I know those are always these questions. It's just like I think the craziness kind of sorts itself out. The Raiders are going to be your AFC West champs.
What about the Broncos rumored New Jerseys? I don't get too excited for New Jersey prospects coming from the Broncos because they've been saying that since before Manning left. So
I like them.
I will say the rumors of Seattle's New Jerseys, though. I might be on board for those.
Well, isn't there's a little tribute to the throwback, but yet they're keeping
It's
the
like a
same logo
mixture.
or something?
Yeah, it's kind of here. Let me.
I
So
think
this
I
is-
seen it the other day. I think I liked it. I was like, ooh, those are going to be pretty sweet.
Let's see.
Is it
That's
like that deep blue, like Boise State looking jerseys?
They're going back to their throw. I like the.
So it's
Ah.
he's saying it's kind of like a good mixture of both.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think they would look very sharp. I think Denver's going to look like the Disney themed team if they put mountaintops on their shoulder pads. Are you kidding me? They need to do what everyone in Denver wants them to do. Go back to the 1990s look. The fans are calling for it. I think you would make a lot of money, and you already do with some of the retro sales, but you can modernize it a little bit.
With the D.
Yep, keep your D. Go back to the royal blue. Yeah, that just looks like
I like it. I do.
that's
I-
terrible. Dude,
It-
burn that stuff at the stake.
Yeah, it's just above the Arizona Cardinals for me. Man, the Cardinals, we got to. All right. So one of these days, we're going to, probably after the Super Bowl on a Tuesday, we'll just do a live stream of a tier list of the NFL jerseys. But my vote for worst is the Arizona Cardinals. They look like the practice high school jerseys. And how that became an NFL jersey, I have no idea. I thought the Atlanta Falcons red black one was bad. That's my rant about jerseys. Let's see. Other big news, sports wise, WWE has signed a 10-year deal with Netflix to be on Netflix. Now, Netflix has a very easy out after 5 years to cut them.
Right.
Netflix, as we've kind of talked about on previous shows, is
Sorry, I'm just going to cut in real quick to show you what I was. Sorry, I got to take my background off. I'll show you what I was talking about here.
I've heard. I like that.
See, it's same thing. It's modern, but yet it has the
The D.
the flashback to the old Broncos.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, if they did something, Matt, to your point, if they did something like what Cleveland's been doing, just making it a modernized look of the old jerseys that are classic, classy, and tight, it's definitely the way to go.
Well, actually, I thought Cleveland did something different. Then I realized they got rid of the shine out of the helmet. It's a matte finish now, and I really like the Cleveland Browns helmets. I think although they have nothing on them, they're one of my favorites.
well, you know what I like too? Brownie the Elf.
Yes, it was good to see Brownie the Elf back at midfield. It was like, oh yeah, Brownie the Elf.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors that he was going to be replaced this year by the Bulldog, and I was really disappointed. Like Brownie the Elf, when I think of that, I think of Otto Graham, Jim Brown, like those title teams. Just some fantastic history. And yeah, I don't know. I also remember our old neighbor Mary had a statue of Brownie the Elf in her front yard. So
Yeah, my history with Brownie the Elf is definitely I can't say it was a huge part of my life growing up, but I've grown and appreciative of it. And I think the Browns fan base as a collective is no longer really like embarrassed by it. I think it's nice to finally see them like owning the tradition. You can't really hide the bad, including the Brownie the Elf, because it's part of your history. You just got to own it, move on, and make sure you own that part of the franchise.
hey, as a Seahawks fan, I would buy a Brownie the Elf hat and wear it proudly.
I have a couple of them, man.
Like not even a joke. I would, maybe when we go to Roswell, that's what people will see me. So if you're watching this and you see us in Roswell, keep an eye out.
So you're
Sounds
talking
good.
about WWE?
Yeah, we WWE's going to Netflix. Netflix is a struggling brand, so I guess for them this is something good. They've been losing a lot lately. It seems like they're going to come out on top of the streaming wars, outside of the fact that they are getting mauled by YouTube. Like this last
Yeah.
couple of years, YouTube is doing numbers that any streaming service would be jealous of. But I think right now the only two streaming services that are making even a hair of a margin are Netflix and Hulu, not counting YouTube because YouTube obviously is making a nice pretty penny. But I know also Hulu is about to merge with Disney Plus, who is hemorrhaging money at like $8 billion lost or
Well,
something.
they're pretty much already merged together because in my Hulu package, I have ESPN Plus as well as Disney Plus with Hulu. So they're pretty much already tying everything together. I think it's just dotting the T's or dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Yeah, pretty soon we'll have one app for both of them because they'll just be combined. And we'll see. This kind of feels like the last ditch effort for Disney to save their streaming services. We already know they've actually gone back to making physical media. As of early last year, they stopped. But because they were losing money, they went back to the Blu-ray game. So
I heard from Matt. I guess Hogan's coming back at Royal Rumble. He wants one more match.
I don't know if anyone's excited about that. Matt, are you excited about that?
Not really. If it was going to be done right, it should have been done a few years ago. But Hogan's kind of like Ric Flair and Batista, who they keep coming back. They're like that cockroach that you smash, but yet somehow doesn't die.
Hey, at least Batista can still move, and you don't worry he's going to die in the ring.
There were times like when WWE would bring Mae Young into the ring and they would like have Mark Henry like squash her or throw her to the ground. It's like, dang, that lady's like 80. What the heck are you doing? She's going to die right there.
Mae Young, I remember her. She kept showing her. It's like,
hey, Bob, remember we're live.
Someone get her a life alert. She's being abused.
Right? A life alert.
Yeah. No, WWE, I think, is kind of in a weird spot where they're going to have too many top talents. And you kind of almost feel bad for Cody Rhodes. They've clearly promised him something, and now, most likely for the second year in a row, he will not get what they promised him when he went there. They're going to give it to Punk, is kind of my feeling, especially with Rollins being hurt, which, bummer for me. I was definitely pulling more for Rollins than Punk, especially after all those tirades. Another big news, Kazuchika Okada, someone that we met in New York, is leaving New Japan. He's their biggest name, and with Will Ospreay also leaving and he going to AEW, I think Okada is probably going to go to AEW. He knows everyone he's worked there. But it kind of makes you wonder what's going on with New Japan. Like, why are like this guy like Okada, someone who's like been given the reins, kind of like this Cena, right? Why is he leaving? What's going on behind the scenes? And I hope he doesn't go to WWE. If he does, it's best for him. Good for him. But I don't think they're going to use him correctly.
Could Goldberg be an entrant maybe into the Royal Rumble somehow?
I mean, yeah, Goldberg's going to be an entrant so that they can have him versus Dwayne The Rock Johnson at halftime of the CU Buffaloes game this upcoming year.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'd go up to CU to watch Goldberg fight or Dwayne Johnson.
Yep. That'd be crazy, man.
Or if Goldberg spares Brock again.
Well, what about? So I know NFL's coming up to the end here soon. It's kind of hard to cover hockey and baseball just because there's so many games. It's not like NFL where we can cover one game per team a week. But I think maybe we can watch this United Football League version 2 somehow and give you guys weekly updates there. I don't know. That'd be fun. Plus, we can do a tier list, of jerseys. And plus, once the World Series and once Stanley Cup Finals come, definitely we'll be back on. Because why not? Those are fun. Even if my Cubbies, I really never had hope outside of the 1 year. Uh-oh.
Well, dude, not this year, but next year the Rockies are winning the World Series.
You know what I realized?
2 years after the 100 loss season, right?
Right. Back to the Future was only a year off on the Cubs, so.
Well, I'm going to really have to go back to the archives and watch a lot of the Simpsons episodes because it seems like the Simpsons have projected everything that's happened so far. So definitely need to go check that out.
Right. Well, and then, for anyone watching the channel, we'll be doing some more deep dives. We got one for sure with Grayson planned. We'll be filming this upcoming Monday. Might be spider themed. As well as we got one the following Saturday about a certain Western film that, we get a lot of slack on for talking about on the channel. Grayson, are you excited for those?
I sure am. I did the deep dive for the not the spider themed one, but the other one already. I got to get on to the other one, but I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Matt should be able to join us on that Saturday one too. It sounds like so. That'll be good. In movie news too, there's been a big wave of news surrounding Jurassic Park. New Jurassic World film, but it's not being written by Trevorrow and all those people. It's actually being written by the same person that wrote Jurassic Park and The Lost World. So the original two. Now, he does have kind of an iffy thing, but as far as history, what he's written. But it gives me hope because, the writing on the Jurassic World films were tough. Especially that Fallen Kingdom. I made a that meme where it's like corporate wants to find the difference between this picture and this picture. I made one of Jurassic World and the Star Wars sequels because to me they are very, very similar. 7 and Jurassic World were kind of like a reboot, right? That retreaded the first one. And then the second one, what it subverted expectations and was just hated. And then the last one, they tried to bring back all these cast members and kind of fix the wrongs and kind of weigh down the movie. Grayson, do you think that's a fair assessment?
I mean, I 100% agree. I can't say I 100% agree, but I see where you're coming from with that. I think as bad as the Jurassic Park sequels were, or Jurassic World sequels were, I think while it was disappointing and a letdown, I don't think it had as much of an impact on a fan base as the Star Wars ones did. But I can see I agree with the connection because it's very much reboot and then just progressively just so dumb as it continues down the line.
Well, and speaking of reboots, are you excited for that super movie they're going to put together with Rey, with The Mandalorian and Grogu, with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan somehow? I don't know how they're doing that because he's dead at that time, but
I will say Honestly, yeah. So excited. Can't wait to see it, especially the fact that they're already having issues and already considering dropping the director after everything that's happened over the past couple of weeks. And for some reason, they don't fire Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm. I don't get that. I don't understand how she's still there, but, that's just me.
Did you see the South Park episode about Disney and Kathleen?
No.
All right, so Matt, go watch that. I do have a sad update. I have not read the manga about Superman getting lunch yet. I did purchase it. It is here. I was just very hard at work at some Fossil Frenzy episodes, having to read 3 different scientific papers. I just did not have time to fit in Superman deciding lunch. It's legit. That's the premise. He decides lunch. Oh, and then we got some more Deadpool stills, Grayson. Young Deadpool, how do you feel? Younger Deadpool, I should say. Younger Samurai Deadpool.
Are we talking Deadpool 3?
Yes.
I haven't. Believe me, I have. I did not know that news stills dropped, but I have a definitely interesting theory that what the Disney MCU is going to try to do with Deadpool 3, but that's for another time. But I did not know that. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if they're official, but they've been going around and showing multiple Deadpools. They were talking different Logans. Uh-oh.
Well, the rumor is Carl Urban's supposed to be a Logan variant in the movie.
Who is it?
Carl Urban, Judge Dredd, Billy Butcher.
And yeah, the boys.
Oh, it's Billy Butcher.
Oh, which one's that? Oh, Trevor Lawrence. Hey, another quarterback they said was the best prospect ever. Oh, Matt, you're on mute.
Where's my stuff?
No, he's not done too much. He's kind of struggled a little bit too, but again, I think Jacksonville's misusing him.
I don't have any cool rookies I haven't collected cards in a while.
I was at Walmart the other day. They had a 500 count NFL pack for like $48 on closeout. I bought it.
Oh, look at that. It's Mike White, rookie jersey card for the Cowboys. I didn't even know he played for the Cowboys.
That's nuts, man.
Oh, here you go, Bobby.
Huh?
There's a jersey card for you.
Oh my God, John Elway.
Yeah, baby.
John Elway.
I'll give you $3 for that.
I'll get it off him. I'll buy it off him. I'll buy those off you.
Hey, look at that one, Bobby.
There's another one.
Both of them I will.
I'll give you $1.50 for that one.
Oh, that's highballing it, Matt.
How much are they?
I have no idea what they go for. I've had those ones forever. I think they were some of my first ones. I had Marshall Falk too.
I'll take them if you want me to. I'll put them in my thing because I leave them right away.
You'll have to pay for those ones there, Bobby. Those ones are good cards. You'll have to pay for those ones. He won't just give it to you.
How much?
Oh, and how about this, Grayson?
Oh my God.
Look at this masterpiece of
Did
a
it
baby.
resurrect from the bottom or what?
What the heck?
Man, that just cannot die.
No.
Oh no, I found a movie that might be worse than that Titanic. It's an animated Titanic where it follows some mice, right? And the villain pays some sharks who have an octopus throw the iceberg at the ship, and it retcons the sinking so that nobody dies. And the octopus sacrifices himself holding the ship together.
Oh my God. So for my age group, anybody that's been on the internet long enough, they probably have, or just, you'll have to look up the JonTron or any other videos of reviews of those, because it's hysterical. It's pretty funny.
Have you seen anything about not Kimba, the white lion. It's Simba the king lion.
I have not. I have not.
I'm gonna send you a video because these are some of those ones I'm like we should do deep dives at some point. I know we got like a massive like 7 film projected one ahead of us, but at some point, oh, and the room, we got to do the room. We were learning how to do the classic. I did not hit it. I did not. Oh, hi, Mock. In like 5 different languages today. So if we ever want to quote that movie while traveling. Are they Broncos are moving to San Antonio? I mean, it's possible. Maybe the Bronco or the Walmart family will feel bad that they took a team from St. Louis and just shipped the Broncos to St. Louis.
That would be good, right?
Right.
I mean, the stadium's falling apart according to them.
Well,
Yeah.
Mile High hasn't been touched since the late '80s, early '90s. The entire stadium kind of needs a facelift.
Yeah, they've done some small ones. I don't know if they're doing any this year. Are they, Matt?
No significant upgrades this year.
Okay. I know last time they tried to do an upgrade, it caught fire in the stadium, so that was probably a sign.
Well, I didn't realize they did fix it. What they had to do was, because it would have been so long without the seats that would match what was there, they just redid the whole club level with brand new seats, and they're the cheaper plastic crap that they use at all the stadiums now. So I wasn't super impressed with the comfortability of the seats in the club level area.
Right. Oh, and then one other news, you'll be getting a short about it tomorrow. Some great shorts coming out, one of which we crash a wedding using 3-foot-long dinosaurs. So if you have not seen that one, definitely check it out. It was a fun time. But yeah, some news as far as architecture, because I know we cover that as well on the channel. Oklahoma City building, which was 26 feet shy of the cheating antenna of the World Trade Center in New York, has put on a cheating antenna of their own to raise their proposed building height to 1,907 feet. So
Crap.
we shall see if Oklahoma goes from new 1,000-foot buildings to tallest in America. Having lived through Las Vegas proposing multiple, I don't know if we'll see it, but Grayson, you look like you're researching something.
You would be correct, sir.
And anything exciting?
No, I wish. I was trying to find those stills of Deadpool, but I just see him and Hugh Jackman walking through a field, so,
Oh, here, hold on.
exciting stuff.
It was like all over my feed today. Hold on. Oh, I did right away. It is him and breakdancing in the field now.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not really. Oh, God. Oh, God.
No, what is that? No way.
No.
Yes, I agree. No. Absolutely not.
36.
Oh, God.
Now,
start looking yet? Good Lord.
36 copies.
hey, the way they're going, we might see Ezra Miller's The Flash in that movie.
That's honestly, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that they're just trying to find some way to do a master reset and not really, make good stories, but just give you, hey, here is this. Look at how nice it is.
Yep.
Matt put up a brick wall. Matt, what is happening? Is Russell Wilson in there? Do we need to call anyone?
I'm trying to keep him out. I had to put up the wall.
Oh. I think that's the most painful thing you showed me, and I just saw you hold up Titanic too. Good Lord.
And we talked about that.
Maybe the doors are bigger on this ship. They put bigger doors on there.
Hey, we'll watch it sometime. It is one of those movies that I did rank Spider-Man Lotus above. That tells you how I felt about that movie.
That is concerning. I've never seen that movie. I've only seen clips, but I've heard it's painful.
It's hard to get through. Yeah, I think that's it for our show this week. I think it's been fun. We mainly talked about other stuff, but I think these weekly shows, if we keep doing them, we'll have to find other things to talk about because the NFL is coming to a head here pretty soon. Let us know in the comments for sure who you picking to go to the Super Bowl next week, or 2 weeks from now, I should say. Not used to the Pro Bowl being between it. Oh, and the Russell Wilson Pro Bowl. Grayson, before we end off, how do you feel about Russell Wilson changing the Pro Bowl to flag football?
What?
Yeah, that was his suggestion to the commissioner. They should make it flag football.
They're already not playing hard anyway. What is this?
Okay, I'm here. I'm listening.
No,
Are you?
sorry, that was something that did not come up in my research, but hey, whatever Russell Wilson has to do to make sure Russell Wilson makes Russell Wilson's money, Russell Wilson's going to do it.
Yep.
Right. No, that was something.
Hey, come on, Bronco Country. Let's ride. Let's ride the flag football. Let's just play flag football all the time.
Paying me to go on vacation after a losing season. Pro Bowl.
Right. Who is even in the Pro Bowl? All right, so I guess next week too we will preview the Pro Bowl. Because there's going to be all these games. I might not even watch it, to be honest. I used to watch the Pro Bowl, especially. You guys remember the quarterback challenge they used to do back in the early 2000s?
Yes. It's just summer. It's just watching pro athletes in summer camp.
Right. Those were the days. Now we got flag football and
right.
Right. Yeah. What is it called?
No.
If we both, what is it called? Arm wrestling. I was like, wait, you got an arm, you wrestle it. What is it called? Grayson, have you fact checked who made the Pro Bowl?
Oh, I'm looking at the roster right now.
Is it exciting?
Not really. To go over at least some of the starters, the quarterbacks are going to be picked from if Brock Purdy does not make it all the way. He's going to be the designated starter for the NFC. Christian McCaffrey, again, if they don't make it, going to be starting running back for the NFC. CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown as the starting wide receivers. Yeah, I mean...
That's Coach Manning, I think, for the AFC.
I'm trying to find the AFC lineup, but of course I got to go to a separate article for that. So, so 2024 AFC Pro Bowl game roster designated starter Tua Tagovailoa is the starting quarterback for the AFC. Running backs are going to be Raheem Mostert, James Cook, and Derrick Henry. Ooh, wide receivers, Amari Cooper made the list. All right. Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, and Jamar Chase. If the Kansas City Chiefs get knocked out, it's going to be Travis Kelce and David Njoku. Tight end, blah, 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 blah. Myles Garrett is a defensive end. Always fun to watch him play, even if it is just walkthroughs. And, yeah, nothing too crazy. Nothing, making me want to sit there.
Right, I've actually been openly trying to recruit people to film episodes that day. At first I was like, dang it, is that the Super Bowl? And I looked, I was like, okay, good, we still got a week. I forgot, and there was some other news that there might be a pretty big sports magazine that is no longer.
SI.
Yeah, Sports Illustrated sounds like could be gone, or is gone, or I don't know. I haven't seen them in stores in a while. Matt, anything you're hearing about Sports Illustrated?
Just that, it's an end of an era. Everyone's saying goodbye, so I'm assuming they're done.
Yeah, I think they laid off every one of their staff. So I'm guessing at that point you're closing up shop.
Yep.
It'll be sad, but I mean, a lot of magazine companies I don't foresee being around in the near future. I mean, they're going to continue to diminish and disappear. I mean, I've been a long time subscriber to the Food Network magazine, probably 11 years now, and uh, the thickness that they had 11 years ago compared to today, where it's like maybe 60 pages versus 110, 120. So big changes have come along. So I mean, I don't know. It's the world we live in today. I'm much like you. I like my hard media. I want the magazine in my hands. I don't want to have to go to my phone for it.
Yeah, and I think it'll be kind of that niche thing we'll be able to find in like bookstores and stuff. We'll see how many magazines we have. If you go into a local Barnes and Noble, tons of different magazines.
Yep.
I think perhaps some of them won't make it, but I even know like True West is one that we've talked about on the channel because of
They'll make
authors
it.
we've had. They're gonna make it. They're changing a little bit what they're doing just to give better issues because they're trying to focus on quality versus quantity. And I think that's what a lot of people do. Grayson, any thoughts on SI?
No, I think because I haven't really kept up with that story, but I know that they're laying off basically most of their staff, right?
Yeah.
I think it's been a long time coming. I think once you stray away from basically your core audience and you try to tell them it's their fault that they don't like what you're doing anymore, you just end up losing no matter what. And it's a hard truth that everybody's having to come to realize, and it was kind of long overdue. It's sad. It shouldn't have happened this way, but it's just what happens when people just go away from their roots without really acknowledging where they came from. So,
Well, and didn't they tell sponsors if they didn't like what they were doing, they could pull out their sponsorships?
playing game of chicken with the money is never a good look, and it's never a good call.
Right. Hey,
I just hope they
people are-
keep like Lindy's pro football though. Lindy's pro and then Lindy's fantasy football though.
well, I
they
don't
keep
think
that.
they're owned by the same people, Bobby. Are they? Matt, can you fact check that?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't think Lindy's is owned by the same. It's kind of like Topps, though. Topps used to be really big for football cards back in the day. They were like the go-to for football cards, and I don't even know when they got out of the game. They lost the deal, but it's kind of a weird thing knowing when you go look at cards, you're like, oh, there's no Topps here. Topps was like the big one. They'd give out all the promotions and stuff. I don't know, Grayson, anything from your childhood that you remember that is no longer around? That might be obscure because I know everyone's going to say like Circuit City or Best Buy or not Best Buy. Best Buy is going to be one of them soon, but Blockbuster is what I meant.
Yeah. Anything outside of the big ones, probably. The one thing that I really miss that doesn't exist anymore is Kudos bars. Those things were amazing. I loved Kudos bars growing up.
Right.
But I would say the only other thing is this will be a shout out for anybody that grew up in Colorado Springs. Is there was like this David Buster-esque, like Chuck E. Cheese-esque place where it was like if anybody who grew up in Colorado in the early 2000s, Fat City up in I think it was Wheat Ridge. It was basically a knockoff of that called Mr. Biggs in the Springs that closed down, I think, just because there was I don't know why it closed down. If it is still open, I haven't even checked, but it was a place I used to go as a kid a lot when I was down with my dad and stuff like that, like on the weekends and stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
I remember Fuddruckers.
So not owned by the same company, Keegan.
All right, so Bob, you're good.
I remember Fuddruckers. Remember Fuddruckers used to be good too. They were gone.
Well, and I know we went to a second spin. It was on Colorado Boulevard.
Yeah, these show on WWE stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Movies, vinyls, video games at a good price too. Lots
Shirts.
of sales. Yeah, shirts, collectibles. They've been gone for I don't know, about 5-6 years now. Bonnie Bray's another one we've done videos at, and it's gone. I think they've built up on it by now, probably. I know that was the plan, but
I think you mentioned it a little earlier, but I really do miss Radio Shack. Great store, you know.
Scanners, yep.
well, I miss the old Best Buys when it was actually Best Buy and not going in to buy a washer or a fridge. You know, that was more of a Sears thing, you know. But you actually had CDs and movies and video games, and it was just kind of a fun place to go. And
Do they still have CDs or no? Do they still have CDs or they get rid of them?
No, Best Buy is pulling out of everything, and they're gonna pretty soon become only fridges and that kind of stuff, big appliances, because they are honestly Best Buy is probably on its way out. Is my thought.
I think you're right, Keegan. I mean, honestly, that was probably like one of the best parts about being a kid is you'd go in there with your allowance, you'd buy like whatever video game you wanted, CD, movie, whatever.
Yep.
Man, that takes me back. I miss those days, dude. Those were awesome days.
Right. One of these days, we'll film a recollection video of us just walking around and be like, you remember back in the day, this was such and such.
How am I only 27, but I feel like I'm 45?
Yeah.
I felt like that the other day, me and Alex, who's going to be on our show for Best Burgers when we do the Wild Blue Yonder, but we were at Battle Mountain, which was the backyard or Maddie's Beer Garden, if you remember that, Grayson.
Yep.
I do.
But I was like, this used to be the fire station. Like, where we're walking is where the fire trucks were parked.
Yep.
This was the fire tower right there. Like, and I was like, I'm old because I doubt anyone else in this bar knows anything about that.
Dude, the weirdest. I was back home. I want to say a couple beginning of December, and I was going by. I was driving by the King Supers over off of Ridge Road and Highway 82. I think it was 91,
132.
132. And I saw they're putting up a McDonald's, and I'm like, this area is so different. They're like, it was so weird going from nothing but prairie land out there to basically nothing but houses, and now a McDonald's right there off of that corner going in, dude. It's
And a
so
Dunkin'
weird.
Donuts.
And a Dunkin' Donuts? You're thinking of Dunkin' Donuts over there?
Yeah.
Dude, what is happening to that town?
I have no idea because when I moved to Castle Rock, I moved to Founders, and there was nothing, and it felt like forever to get from Founders, and I guess Safeway was here, but it was where Walmart is, or where the library was, and where Safeway is was Walmart, but they didn't have food a long time ago.
That was just a Walmart. Yep. And remember the JC Flicks was the only movie store in town.
And then we had Hollywood Video for a while.
I remember when the Planet Fitness was a Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, that dentist office over there was a Blockbuster. Dude. Oh,
yeah, because Planet Fitness, I guess, was the pharmacy. The drug pharmacy. Yeah.
I remember that old King Supers too, dude. Man.
Good times. Good times.
It's hard to believe that was 15, 20 years ago. Good God.
Right, yeah. How long has 71 been gone?
It's been gone since 2018.
7 years now.
Yeah.
There's the old Safeway before it became the library, which has now been moved.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I heard somebody purchased the old Safeway though in Castle Pines. We don't know who it is.
Do something with it.
We don't know who it is though.
Safeway still owns it.
Do they really?
Is it going to be an Albertsons now?
They're not going to change that. The owner has his purposes for leaving it vacant right now.
Yeah, i.e. when Piggly Wiggly's doesn't buy 91 and they move that store to that location.
I thought they were going to make it a Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah. When does Buc-ee's open, Matt? We got to go. We're going to go.
As of right now, in March. They're stating late March, early April.
You coming down? You coming to Buc-ee's with us?
I will be making the pilgrimage to the Colorado Buc-ee's. I will tell you that right now.
All right.
I'm in.
Let's film a day vlog. Maybe we even can go live. We'll show you guys. This has been a weird sports podcast. I think we talked about sports for like 30 minutes. All right. But before we get you all off, kilter. We will be back next week for Super Bowl picks. Grayson will be back a few times in the near future for movie reviews, so keep an eye out for him. Until next time, though, more cool sports chat over my face, I believe. More about what we're doing here to your right, which was an interview with Brett Hendricks. Thank you again, Brett, for coming on the show. And don't forget to hit that like, give us a subscribe, and let us know who is going